First of all, I think that the situation is something that we need to sympathize with the business community, because whatever that happens that do not inure to the benefit of the people that you lead, you have to sympathize with them. And of course, the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar affects the business community, and by extension, it affects every Ghanaian. Because when the business community is affected and they have to add more money or they have to inject more capital into their businesses, that additional injection of capital and higher prices will be passed on to the final consumer, which is the ordinary Ghanaian. And so I will not sit here to want to push an agenda that suggests that things are everything is well. Once the cedi depreciates against the dollar, it means that a Ghanaian businessman must find more cedi to buy the dollar. It also means that the capital of the Ghanaian businessman will be affected. And so the amount of goods that probably you would have imported in the past may not necessarily be the same. And so it is a worrying trend that every Ghanaian must be interested in. But Randy, what sometimes surprises me is the attitude of our friends in the NDC. I mean, it is not as if you have not been there before. You have been there before. And your record is an open secret. And comparatively, I mean, even under these difficult circumstances, this 8 years or 7 years plus of the MPP government still is better than the 8 years under President Mills and Mahama in terms of cedi-dollar relationship. I mean, if you look between 2009 to 2016, the 8 years of the NDC, when Mahama was vice president and subsequently president, the average depreciation of the cedi in the 8-year period was 18.9%. As it stands today, the cedi depreciation against the dollar in the last 7 years is still lower than this average depreciation under the NDC that was recorded. It's still lower. Sometimes, I mean, you can coerce or you can try to paint the picture because the nominal value of the cedi against the dollar is going higher. People may be tempted to believe that it is the worst situation. But if you do the real measuring of the cedi depreciation against the dollar under the 8 years NDC and against what we are experiencing now, in averages, it was worse under the NDC. And the cumulative depreciation of the cedi under the NDC, there are 8 years against today. Between 2009 to 2016, the cedi cumulative depreciation was 71.1% cumulatively. In the last 7 years, the cumulative depreciation under our government is 64.6%. I am not by this suggesting that, I mean, things are good. But because of lawyer Tamakulu,
I was asking you to send your cumulative depreciation to Abosokai.
No, Randy, we are doing.
I
mean, but it's important. It's important. Those are
Honorable bias in averages and percentages.
You guys, you should allow me to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
When you were talking, I listened to you quietly.
It's okay.
Randy, I have said that I sympathize with Ghanaian traders, business people, and by extension, the whole of Ghana. Because when the cedi depreciates against the dollar, it affects everybody. No doubt about that. And the current situation is not different. That the cedi depreciating against the dollar does not have an effect on the living conditions of Ghanaians. I mean, it has. It has adverse effect on businesses. It has adverse effect on individual Ghanaians. But I am saying that these people who are seeking to replace us in government, their record shows that if their record is what we are to go by, their last 8 years, then it means that the situation would have been worse than it is. And you are talking about averages and cumulative depreciation in their time when we didn't have a global pandemic like COVID. I mean, the international community was normal. I mean, everything was normal across the globe, and yet they could not manage the cedi against the dollar. Today, in spite of the global meltdown, all economies across the globe, their currencies are being affected. Banks are go to US, banks are being closed down. And this same Bloomberg report tells us that Nigeria has the worst. In fact, the naira has depreciated against the dollar by 55%. It's the worst. So Ghana, even in this situation, is still better than them. Today in Nigeria, $1 is to 1,600 naira. 1,600 naira to a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Ghana is doing better than a lot of countries.
Which
that same
countries?
report that we are referring to.
But the report mentions the countries.
Yes, and
Yes.
and I'm just telling you one of them. But the point, I'm just saying that
Yes.
Ghana is still doing better than other countries. And Randy, when we are discussing matters of this nature, let's look at the global situation. Ghana is not an island, and Ghana is not standing alone. Global effects have an impact on our economy, and that is why I'm saying that the NDC, with their worst record, did not even experience the kind of global challenges that we are experiencing today. Yet they were worse. It means that if you replay NDC to today, they would have been doing worse. Even if you bring that record and put in place of NPP's record, it's worse. Which, by extension, even suggests that if they were confronted with the situation NPP government is confronted today, they would have been doing worse. Now, the truth of the matter is that Ghana was supposed to earn, we're expected to earn about $508 million from our cocoa earnings. And this drop certainly has affected our situation. If you also look at the report, they have suggested that for Ghana and Zambia, this is a quote, delays in reaching a debt restructuring agreement with private creditors is likely weighing on capital flow. This is part of the report.
Yes.
Yes, so because currently,
But who's responsible for
the
that?
government is responsible.
Yeah.
But of course, it means that when this matter is resolved, I'm just trying to let you know that the situation will improve. It is not the best as we expect, but it will improve when this major hurdle is crossed. My brother, Lawyer Tamukulo, will not admit to this, or he will not point to these facts as indicated in the report.
Which
That
facts?
this is, I mean, if I have quoted something, Ghana and Zambia. This is a quote from the report. For Ghana and Zambia, the delays with reaching a debt restructuring agreement with private creditors, which you are well aware of, is likely weighing on capital. And once there is the capital flow is affected, of course, there will be pressure and there will be speculation.
Are you aware that the flip side of what you just read is the fact that you are not servicing your external debt? The thing that you have not reached an agreement on, you have also not been servicing from November 2022.
That is not the subject we are discussing. How
is it not?
No.
How
We
is
are
it
talking
not?
about depreciation of the cedi, and I'm telling you one of the reasons, a reason that has been stated by even the people who have come out with the report.
Honorable, I'm surprised that you think they are not related. You are talking about
It's so causal.
You are talking about the fact that we have not reached an agreement with our external creditors, not so. As a reason.
Yes.
And I'm just telling you.
I am not saying it. That is what the report is saying.
No problem. But you decided to rely on it.
Yes.
And I'm also asking
Appropriate
you
and reprobate.
whether you
No, I am
appreciate,
not.
Chief,
I am not.
Chief, whether you appreciate the flip side, that this same lack of agreement, what it also means is that from November 2022, a critical component of your forex expenditure, which is the service of your external debt, has not been happening.
And I'm saying that it's a what is it? I am telling you the reason why, as pointed out in the report, why we are experiencing what we are experiencing now. I mean, that is what you are saying is a fact, but I mean, for me, it's not related to the point I'm making. The point I am making is that there is a reason why we are where we are, and that has been stated in the report, which I have quoted. And you don't dispute that.
Yes.
That is a reason. I have also given a second reason, that the drop in our cocoa earnings by $508 million has also affected our situation. I'm just trying to let you know some of the reasons that have accounted for this situation.